Michael Clark, a 45-year-old architect in Seattle, sat in his downtown office, sketching plans for a new eco-friendly community center. The hum of the city buzzed outside his window, but his mind was on family. His kids, 20-year-old Ellie and 18-year-old Nate, were planning their move to college, and Michael wanted to sync with his wife, Emily, about logistics. He dialed her number, expecting her usual cheerful tone. Emily, a marketing manager at Bright Future Agency, picked up, but her voice was clipped. "Hey, Michael, I'm swamped. In a meeting. Can't talk now," she said, hanging up before he could respond. Something felt off. Emily's tone was rushed, almost evasive. Michael frowned, his gut nagging him. On a whim, he called Lindsay, Emily's old college friend who worked in the same office. Lindsay was always chatty, and Michael figured she'd know if Emily was really tied up. "Lindsay, hey, is Emily around?" "Tried her, but she's in some meeting," Michael said, keeping his voice light. "Emily? Oh, she left like 5 minutes ago with Richard, our sales director. No idea where they went, but it wasn't a meeting, that's for sure," Lindsay replied with a laugh, oblivious to the bomb she'd just dropped. Michael's heart sank. Emily had lied. His fingers hovered over his phone, then opened Find My, a family tracking app they'd used when the kids were younger. Emily's blinked in downtown Seattle, at Emerald Bistro, a trendy spot miles from her office. His stomach churned. Why would she lie about a meeting and head there with Richard? Without a second thought, Michael grabbed his jacket and keys. The drive to the bistro was a blur, his mind racing with possibilities. Maybe it was a client lunch. Maybe Lindsay got it wrong. But deep down, he feared the worst. He parked across the street and scanned the restaurant's glass facade. There they were, Emily and Richard, laughing over wine at a corner table, their body language far too cozy for a work meeting. Michael's chest tightened as he watched them leave, Richard's hand grazing Emily's as they crossed the street towards Starlight Inn, a nondescript motel known more for discretion than luxury. His hands clenched the steering wheel. 20 years of marriage, date nights, family vacations, late-night talks flashed before him. Was it all a lie? He took a deep breath, forcing himself to stay calm. Confronting them now, in public, would be messy, but he couldn't just sit there. Michael stepped out his car, his architect's precision guiding his steps as he trailed them at a distance. The motel's neon sign flickered above, mocking him. He had to know the truth, but he needed to be smart about it. As Emily and Richard approached the motel's entrance, Michael made his move. He jogged across the street, pasting on a surprised smile. "Emily, what a coincidence," he called, his voice steady despite the storm inside. "I was just grabbing coffee nearby. Thought we could talk about the kids' plans." Emily froze, her face paling. Richard shifted awkwardly, his confident smirk faltering. "Michael, Emily's Tomarat. We were just, grabbing a quick lunch. Work stuff. Richard, this is my husband." "Pleasure," Richard muttered, barely meeting Michael's eyes. Michael nodded, his gaze piercing. "Rough day at the office? You said you were in a meeting." Emily's laugh was forced. "Oh, it wrapped up early. We just needed to discuss a campaign." "Right," Michael said, his tone neutral, but his eyes locked on hers. "Hey, since I'm here, why don't I give you both a ride back to the office? Save you the Uber." Emily hesitated, glancing at Richard, who nodded stiffly. "Sure, that'd be great," she said, her voice tight. The car ride was suffocating. Michael kept the conversation light, asking about Emily's day, but her answers were vague, her hands fidgeting in her lap. Richard stared out the window, silent. Michael's mind raced, piecing together the lies. When he dropped them at Bright Future Agency, Emily's quick "thanks, see you at home" felt like a dismissal. Back in his car, Michael sat for a moment, processing. The woman he'd built a life with was slipping away, and he needed answers. He texted Lindsay, "Can you keep an eye on Emily for me? Something's not right. I'll let you big time." Lindsay replied instantly, "You got it, Michael. I'll let you know if I see anything weird." As he drove home, the Seattle skyline fading into dusk, Michael's resolve hardened. He wasn't just hurt, he was angry. If Emily was betraying him, he'd uncover every detail. And then, he'd make sure she faced the consequences. The Seattle rain pattered against Michael Clark's windshield as he sat in his car outside Bright Future Agency, his mind replaying the scene at Starlight Inn. Emily's nervous stammer, Richard's shifty eyes, it was all burned into him. He'd played it cool, driving them back to the office, but inside he was unraveling. 20 years of marriage, 2 kids, a home filled with memories. How could Emily throw it away? The betrayal stung, but Michael wasn't the type to lash out blindly. He was an architect, a man of plans and precision. If Emily was hiding something, he'd build a case, piece by piece. Back home, the house felt hollow. Emily wouldn't be home for hours, citing late work. Michael poured a coffee and opened his laptop, pulling up their joint bank account. No unusual charges yet. No hotel bookings or fancy dinners, but he wasn't naive. He reactivated notifications for every transaction. If Emily was slipping away, she'd leave a trail. His phone buzzed with a text from Lindsay. Emily's back at the office, acting normal. Richard's in his office, too. Nothing weird so far. I'll keep you posted. Thanks, Lindsay. You're a lifesaver. Michael texted back. He owed her more than a favor. This was his lifeline to the truth. Over the next week, Lindsay became his eyes and ears. Her updates were sporadic but telling. Emily and Richard often left for client lunches together, returning flushed and distracted. Once, Lindsay overheard them whispering in the break room, their laughter too intimate for co-workers. Michael's suspicion hardened into certainty, but he needed more than hearsay. He started checking Emily's phone when she slept, something he'd never done before. Her messages with Richard were carefully deleted, but her calendar had cryptic entries. 2 p.m., Emerald. The same bistro. Michael's jaw clenched. He cross-referenced the dates with Lindsay's reports. Each meeting aligned with Emily's lies about working late. The puzzle was coming together, but it wasn't enough. He needed undeniable proof, something that would force Emily to face her deception. One evening, Emily came home late, her hair slightly mussed, her smile forced. Crazy day, she sighed, kicking off her heels. The new campaign's killing me. Michael nodded, stirring his pasta sauce. Must be tough. You and Richard cracking it. He watched her closely, catching the flicker of unease in her eyes. Yeah, he's got good ideas, she said, avoiding his gaze. I'm beat. Gonna shower. As the water ran, Michael's resolve solidified. He wasn't just a betrayed husband. He was a man taking back control. He called Lindsay. I need a favor. Can you give me Richard's schedule? I want to know where he's going, especially with Emily. Lindsay hesitated. Michael, this is getting intense. You sure you want to go there? I have to know, Lindsay. Please. All right. I'll see what I can do. Days later, Lindsay slipped him a screenshot of Richard's calendar, nabbed from shared office drive. A recurring off-site meeting was marked for Friday at Sky Lounge, a swanky rooftop bar. Michael's blood ran cold. Emily had mentioned a girls' night corporate event at the same place, insisting husbands weren't invited. The lie was blatant now. He thanked Lindsay, promising her dinner at Seattle's best steakhouse, but his mind was already elsewhere, plotting. That night, Emily breezed into the kitchen, humming. Friday's the big work party, she said, pouring wine. Just the team, blowing off steam. I'll be late. Michael forced a smile. Sound fun. You deserve it. Just you and the girls, right? Yup, she said too quickly. No boys allowed. Her laugh was hollow, and Michael's heart sank further. She was slipping through his fingers, but he wouldn't let her walk away unscathed. He spent the next day digging. A quick search revealed Richard was married to Caitlin, a sharp attorney with a reputation for winning tough cases. Michael found her LinkedIn and sent a message. Hi, Caitlin. I'm Michael Clark, Emily's husband. I think we need to talk about our spouses. Can we meet? Caitlin replied within hours, suggesting a coffee shop near her firm. When they met, her steely gaze matched her reputation. What's this about, Michael? He laid it out. The bistro, the motel, the work party. Caitlin's face hardened, but she didn't flinch. Richard's been cagey lately. Late nights, vague excuses. I thought it was work stress, but this fits. I'm not here to ruin lives, Michael said. But I can't let this slide. Emily's lying to me, and I think Richard's playing the same game with you. Caitlin leaned forward. What's your plan? I'm confronting Emily, but not with a fight. I want her to know I see through her. Maybe change the locks, send her stuff to her sisters. Let her feel the weight of her choices. Caitlin nodded. I'll handle Richard. If he's cheating, he's done. I've got leverage. His career's shaky. One wrong move, and he's out. They parted with a handshake, allies in a war neither wanted. Michael drove home, the rain heavier now, mirroring his mood. Emily's betrayal was a wound, but he wasn't powerless. He'd expose her lies, protect his heart, and reclaim his life. The Sky Lounge party was 2 days away, and Michael was ready to make his move. The Seattle sky was a slate of gray as Michael Clark stood in his driveway, watching a locksmith swap out the front door's deadbolt. The metallic clank of the new lock felt final, like the closing of a chapter. Tomorrow was Emily's girls' night at Sky Lounge. But Michael knew it was a cover for her rendezvous with Richard. The betrayal had carved a hollow in his chest, but he was done being the fool. With Caitlin, Richard's wife, as his unlikely ally, Michael was ready to turn the tables. Legally, decisively, and without mercy. Inside, he packed Emily's belongings, dresses, shoes, her favorite books. Each item stung, a reminder of their shared life. He filled 3 suitcases, stacking them by the door. The house, a craftsman-style gem he'd inherited from his parents, was his sanctuary, and Emily no longer belonged here. He'd already called his lawyer, drafting divorce papers, citing irreconcilable differences. No need for a public scandal, just a clean break. His phone buzzed. Caitlin's text checked Richard's emails. He booked a room at the Pacifica Hotel for tomorrow night. Same time as the party. I'm done with him. What's your next step? Michael's jaw tightened. The Pacifica was a step up from Starlight Inn, but the intent was the same. He replied, I'm sending Emily's things to her sisters tomorrow. She'll get the message. You confronting Richard? Not yet, Caitlin wrote. Found his resume. His MBA is fake. I'm tipping off his boss after I secure my finances. He's finished. Michael admired her ruthlessness. Caitlin wasn't just scorned. She was strategic like him. He'd frozen their joint accounts, ensuring Emily couldn't access his funds. Her salary was decent, but she'd relied on his stability. Now, she'd face the consequences of her choices. He called Sarah, a junior colleague of Emily's who owed him a favor from past project. Sarah, I need you to do something tomorrow. Pick up some things from my house and deliver them to Emily at the office. I'll text you the details. Sarah sounded nervous. Sure, Michael. Is everything okay? It will be, he said, his voice calm but firm. Just make sure she gets them before the party. The next morning, Emily left for work, oblivious to the storm brewing. Michael watched her drive off, her red scarf fluttering like a warning flag. He waited an hour, then texted Sarah, come by at 4 p.m. Tell Emily I've changed the locks, and she should contact my lawyer. Here's his card. At 4 p.m., Sarah arrived, her eyes wide as Michael handed over the suitcases. Tell her I've moved her money to a separate account, he added. She's on her own now. He slipped the lawyer's card into her hand, along with a note. Emily, I know about Richard. We're done. My attorney will handle the rest. Sarah nodded, clearly uneasy. I'll do it, Michael. I am sorry. Don't be, he said. She made her choice. As Sarah drove off, Michael felt a weight lift. He wasn't just reacting. He was reclaiming his life. His phone pinged again. Lindsay, Emily's acting weird today. Keeps checking her phone. Richard's been in his office all day, but they're both headed to Sky Lounge tonight. Thanks, Lindsay, Michael texted. Keep me posted. Meanwhile, Caitlin was executing her own plan. She'd hired a private investigator to confirm Richard's movements, uncovering a pattern of late-night hotel bookings and deleted texts. Armed with evidence of his fake credentials, she emailed Bright Future Agency's CEO anonymously, hinting at a personnel issue with Richard. The seed was planted. By evening, Richard would be too distracted to enjoy his hotel tryst. At 6 p.m., Sarah delivered the suitcases to Emily's office. Michael imagined the scene. Emily's shock, her colleagues' whispers. Lindsay confirmed it minutes later. Emily's freaking out. She tried calling you, but no answer. She's telling everyone it's a misunderstanding. Richard looked spooked too. Michael didn't reply. He was already at a coffee shop, meeting Caitlin for a final sync. Her sharp suit and steely gaze radiated control. Richard's getting a call from HR tonight, she said. They're auditing his records. He'll be gone by Monday. Perfect, Michael said. Emily's got her stuff. I'm filing for divorce tomorrow. Caitlin raised her coffee. To new beginnings. Michael clinked his mug against hers. To justice. As night fell, Sky Lounge glittered atop a downtown high-rise. Emily arrived, dressed to impress, but her confidence crumbled when Sarah's delivery hit. Richard, meanwhile, got a panic call from his boss, demanding an in-person meeting. The party fizzled as Emily fled to her sister Kate's house, suitcases in tow, and Richard bolted to save his career. Michael, sipping bourbon at home, felt no joy, only resolve. Emily had chosen this path, and he'd ensured she walked it alone. But the game wasn't over. Ellie, their daughter, was about to step in, and Michael wasn't ready for the emotional ambush she'd bring. The Seattle dusk painted the sky in hues of slate and amber as Michael Clark sat in his living room, the silence of his craftsman home heavier than ever. The suitcases were gone, delivered to Emily at Bright Future Agency yesterday, along with the message that their marriage was over. Changing the locks and freezing their accounts had been surgical, but the wound of Emily's betrayal still bled. Michael sipped his coffee, staring at the family photos on the mantel. Ellie's graduation, Nate's soccer games, vacations in Oregon. Had it all been a facade? His phone buzzed, snapping him back. A text from Lindsay. Emily didn't show at Sky Lounge last night. She's at her sister's now. Richard bailed too. Heard he's in hot water at work. Michael nodded to himself. Caitlin's plan to expose Richard's fake MBA had worked. The CEO's audit was closing in, and Richard was scrambling. But Emily's absence from the party puzzled him. Was she rattled by the suitcases, or planning something new? Before he could dwell, the doorbell rang. Through the window, he saw Ellie, his 20-year-old daughter, her face a mix of worry and determination. Michael braced himself. This wasn't a casual visit. He opened the door, forcing a smile. Ellie, hey. Cool mean. Want some coffee? She shook her head, her eyes searching his. Dad, what's going on? Mom's a wreck at Aunt Kate's. She says you kicked her out over a misunderstanding. Why didn't you tell me? Michael sighed, gesturing to the couch. See, it's not a misunderstanding, Ellie. Your mom's been lying to me. About Richard, her boss. I caught them heading to a motel last week. She said it was work, but I know better. Ellie's face fell, but she pressed on. She swears it was just a flirtation, Dad. Nothing happened. She's begging for a chance to explain. Can't you at least talk to her? Michael's jaw tightened. He'd expected this. Emily using their kids to soften him. Ellie, I gave her chances. She lied about a girls' night at Sky Lounge, but I found out she and Richard booked a hotel room for the same night. Lindsay confirmed it. Your mom's not who I thought she was. Ellie's eyes welled up, but she didn't go to the party. She stayed with Kate. Doesn't that mean something? Maybe she's sorry. Sorry doesn't erase the lies, Michael said, his voice steady but raw. I saw them at Emerald Bistro, laughing, holding hands. She told me she was in a meeting. I checked her calendar, her texts. It's been going on for weeks. And yesterday, Lindsay overheard her planning to meet Richard again, even after I confronted her. Ellie sank into the couch, stunned. She didn't tell me that, she whispered. She just said you overreacted about the party. Michael leaned forward, softening his tone. I'm not the bad guy here, Ellie. I love you and Nate, and I loved your mom. But trust is everything. She broke it, and I can't live wondering who she's with next. I've already got a lawyer. The divorce is happening. Ellie wiped her eyes. Can't you try counseling? For us? Nate's freaking out too. He's too mad to come here, but he's hurting. The mention of Nate hit Michael hard. His son's silence had been deafening. I'll talk to Nate, he promised. But counseling won't fix this. Your mom made choices. She has to own them. Ellie stood, her voice trembling. I'm going to see her. I'll tell her what you said. But, Dad, please think about it. You've been together forever. As she left, Michael felt the walls closing in. Ellie's plea tugged at him, but the image of Emily and Richard burned brighter. He poured another coffee, then checked his phone. A new message from Caitlin. Richard's gone. Quit the agency and left town. My PI says he's dodging creditors too. Good riddance. You okay? Holding up, Michael replied. Emily's at her sister's. My daughter just left. Wants me to forgive her. Not happening. Caitlin's response was swift. Stay strong. She played you. Don't let guilt win. Michael set the phone down, his mind churning. He'd assumed Emily's retreat to Kate's was defeat, but what if she was regrouping? Lindsay's tip about a second planned meeting gnawed at him. He called her. Lindsay, any chance Emily's still in touch with Richard? Lindsay paused. I didn't want to pile on, but yeah. She was on the phone today, whispering. I heard her say Pacific in next week. Could be the Pacifica Hotel. I am sorry, Michael. The confirmation was a gut punch. Emily wasn't backing off. She was doubling down. Michael thanked Lindsay, his resolve hardening. He'd been fair, giving Emily an out, but her persistence with Richard changed the game. He texted his lawyer. Add proof of infidelity to the filing. I've got evidence. Then he called Kate, Emily's sister, catching her off guard. Michael, I'm staying out of this, Kate said warily. Emily's a mess, but she's here. I know, Michael said. Just tell her the divorce is moving forward. She can't charm her way out. And Kate, don't let her play the victim. She's still planning to meet Richard. Kate sighed. I'll talk to her. This is tearing everyone apart. Hanging up, Michael felt a flicker of doubt. Was he too harsh? Ellie's tearful face lingered. But then he pictured Emily's lies, her hand in Richard's, and the doubt vanished. He wasn't destroying their family. Emily had. As the rain tapped the windows, Michael knew the fight wasn't over. Emily's next move would test him, and he'd be ready. The Seattle skyline glowed under a rare clear sky as Michael Clark sat in a downtown cafe, the divorce papers signed and filed. 3 months had passed since he'd sent Emily's suitcases to her sisters, a move that shattered their 20-year marriage. The sting of her betrayal, with Richard, the lies, the planned hotel trysts, still lingered, but Michael felt lighter. He'd taken control, not with fists or vengeance, but with precision and principle. Today's court hearing had sealed it. The marriage was over. Yet, as he sipped his espresso, a final meeting loomed. Emily had requested one last talk, and he'd agreed, if only to close the door for good. The cafe buzzed with evening chatter, but Michael's thoughts were elsewhere. Ellie's tearful plea months ago had shaken him, and Nate's distant anger still gnawed. His kids deserved better than a broken family, but Emily's choices had left no other path. Caitlin, Richard's ex-wife, had been a rock, her own divorce now final. Richard had fled Seattle, his fake MBA exposed, leaving debts and a ruined reputation. Michael's plan, executed with Caitlin's help, had worked. Emily and Richard faced consequences, but the cost was steep. His phone lit up. A text from Ellie. Dad, Mom's nervous about meeting you. She's really sorry. Please hear her out. Michael sighed. Ellie had spent weeks bridging the gap, relaying Emily's regrets, but apologies couldn't rebuild trust. He replied, I'll listen, but don't expect miracles. Love you. Nate, still processing, had texted only once, asking to meet after the dust settled. Michael would wait. At 6 p.m., Emily walked in, her usual confidence dimmed. She wore a simple sweater, no makeup, her eyes red-rimmed. Michael gestured to the seat across from him. You wanted to talk? I'm here. Emily sat, clutching her purse. Michael, I messed up. I know I hurt you, and I hate myself for it. I need you to understand it wasn't what you think. He raised an eyebrow, his voice calm but firm. You lied about meetings, snuck off with Richard to bistros, motels, hotels. Lindsay heard you planning another meetup after I caught you. What's to understand? Emily's lip trembled. It was stupid, okay? Richard flattered me, made me feel seen. Work was stressful, and I got caught up, but I never slept with him. I swear, Michael, it was just talk dumb fantasies. I stopped it after you sent the suitcases. Michael leaned back, unconvinced. You stopped because you got caught. You told Ellie it was a misunderstanding, but you were booking rooms at the Pacifica. You didn't confess until I forced your hand. Why should I believe you now? She wiped a tear. Because I'm telling the truth. I was wrong, but I love you. I always have. We built a life. Ellie, Nate, our home. Can't we try again? Counseling, anything. Michael's gaze didn't waver. I gave you chances, Emily. I begged you to come clean after Starlight Inn. Instead, you planned a night with him at Sky Lounge. You broke us. Trust isn't a switch you flip back on. Emily's voice cracked. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I'm not that person anymore. I've been seeing a therapist, working on myself. I'd do anything to fix this. He shook his head. It's not about fixing. It's about truth. You chose a path, and I chose mine. The divorce is final. I'm giving you half the house's value and your share of our savings. You'll be fine, but we're done. Emily sobbed quietly, nodding. I'll regret this forever. I hope you find happiness, Michael. You deserve it. He stood, leaving cash for the bill. Take care, Emily. Tell the kids I'll see them soon. Walking out, the cool Seattle air hit him like a reset. He felt no joy, only closure. The aftermath unfolded quietly. Emily moved to a small apartment, leaning on therapy to rebuild. She met a kind widower months later, taking things slow, haunted by her mistakes. Michael focused on work, his eco-friendly designs winning awards. At the gym, he bonded with Lisa, a witty single mom who shared his love for hiking. Their friendship bloomed into something more cautious but real. Caitlin thrived, her law firm expanding. She sent Michael a bottle of bourbon with a note to new chapters. Richard, per rumors, scraped by as a salesman in Idaho, dodging old debts. Ellie and Nate healed with time, splitting holidays between parents, learning from their family's fracture to value honesty. One evening, Michael stood on his porch, the city's lights twinkling below. The house, once filled with Emily's laughter, now held his future. He lost a marriage but gained clarity. Life wasn't perfect, but it was just a shape. As the stars emerged, he smiled, ready for what came next.